Oh, yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, you did not dream it. Texas did beat Alabama. We continue to move through the week, headed towards the Wyoming game, and there is another big-time interview tonight on the Outsiders. We'll tell you about that in a second. First off, let's introduce you to your Outsiders here on Orangebloods Live, and it is a What Are You Drinking Wednesday. Here we go. Your upper left, actually it's that way for me, I got to get that right. Your upper left is the quarterback, Chance Mock. Chance, what are you drinking on a Wednesday? Oh, he's muted. What is it? Come on now.
Sorry, Tequilina, always. It's the only thing I drink. Come on now.
It's so good he can't get the mute thing going. You never know.
I told you it'll make your wife prettier. It'll make you prettier. It'll make you forget what you said last night, and it'll make you mute the microphone.
There you go. Your upper right is Jason Dick. Jason, good evening, sir. What you drinking?
I have a big Dallas Cowboys cup of burnt orange Kool-Aid because life is great, man. The Longhorns are back. We lead the nation in backness. The Cowboys are the best team in the NFL. What more could there be? What more could you
Pound sand, bro.
Hey, if you're a fan of both of the circus tents, you got a win at Alabama and you got 40-0 in an NFL game, in a division game. That doesn't happen very often. Well played. Well played. Your lower right is Chris Abbott. He's the voice of the fan, and tonight, as you can tell, he's rocking some Cedar Park Timberwolf love as well tonight. What are we drinking, Chris?
Absolutely. Well, I just came back from Meet the Timberwolves night. Go Timberwolves, and I got a glass of Whataburger sweet tea straight from Texas Whataburger.
The Whataburger sweet tea, never go wrong with that one. There's a Whataburger cup for Bo as well.
We'll get it right.
Yeah.
There you go.
What are you drinking, Bo?
Well, we'll say it's a Whataburger Diet Coke. I'm not saying what's in said Whataburger cup.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I am going with the legendary electric jellyfish from Pine House in a fancy little glass. So we'll have that. You know what, fellas? I think we should have a 34-24 toast. Let's toast 34-24, shall we? That was not bad.
That's enjoyable.
That is nice. We'll have a 49-0 later, but the 34-24 now means a little more to Longhorn folk after that one. It was a great night in Tuscaloosa, and now there's a little more to process. By the way, that big-time interview coming up at 9:15, you're going to want to be here. Call everybody you know. Adam Dunn, 2 sports star. There's probably 5 other sports he was incredible at that we don't even know about. Former Longhorn quarterback, former Major League Baseball player. He is going to be jumping in about 9:15. We're going to see if we can get him to tell some stories. I have a question from Jeff Ketchum earlier in the day that involves Major Applewhite and baked goods that I'm supposed to ask Adam Dunn. So we'll see if we can fit that in. And Chance, I know you got a question or two for Adam Dunn. What are we in for at 9:15? What kind of guest is he going to be?
He's going to be a phenomenal guest. Number one, he's got tremendous amount of experience throughout his entire baseball career. What he did in football was, and I got to tell you, I'm a Montgomery County kid, and we grew up with the legends of Adam Dunn. I mean, he was a stud in Montgomery County. There's nobody really quite like him. I think the only person that I could probably put in his category at that time period was Michael Bishop, which, I mean, it's pretty good company right there, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
But I'll tell you, the first time I met Adam Dunn, and he won't even remember this, I promise you, when I bring it up, when we talked to him, we were at the Montgomery County Fair. And here I was, this little punk-ass kid, and they're like, hey, this is Adam Dunn. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this dude is a giant. Like, there's no way I could ever play at the next level if this is the kind of guy that I got to compete against to be a quarterback. So he is a phenomenal individual, loves to hunt, loves to fish. And here's a little fun little tidbit. My dad now lives in one of Adam's old homes.
Huh.
Small world.
Definitely a small world. Looking forward to that. Thanks to the folks that were scanning that QR code when Colt McCoy popped up. It is the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho Outdoors, PonchoOutdoors.com. Colt's name did come up this week with that Aaron Rodgers injury. We'll see.
It came up. I did throw it out there.
We'll see
I tagged the Bills on it and everything.
We'll see if the Jets want to make a call or something. I'm just saying he might be available. All right, gentlemen, before we get to Adam Dunn, let's talk about Texas and Wyoming. We'll get into some of the Wyoming breakdown probably tomorrow night's show. Remember, we do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 o'clock with game weeks rolling. But in terms of tomorrow night, and by the way, first off, what are you drinking Wednesday? Thanks to Jonas, whiskey is burnt orange. It depends on how you pour it, but yes, that is good. We also love seeing this chat from Jonathan. Love the Outsiders. Appointment television. We appreciate the love. So in terms of Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Texas against Wyoming. Let's talk about this atmosphere that is going to be there. Do we think it's going to be a badass, incredible atmosphere? Chris Abbott, we call you the voice of the fan, so tell me, is it going to be a packed, nutty DKR on Saturday?
I sure hope so. What did Mac Brown say back in the day? Come early, be loud, stay late. Hey, people, this is the time. I mean, we are legitimately worth a shit this year, and it's been a while since we could say that.
Print the shirts. Legitimately worth a shit.
Can we have a chant at the game? Legitimately worth a shit.
I mean, for real. I mean, this is the time, people. I mean, these guys went to Alabama. They did something that literally nobody does. They're coming home. We got a night game in the 90s. We're going to have good weather. It might be a little wet, but who cares? It's football. Come on.
Okay, so let me complete that statement. Although your new catchphrase is stuck in the lexicon of the Outsiders forever. The last part was wear orange. You know who needs to be wearing orange on Saturday at DKR?
There you go.
The students, the fans. Like, everybody wants to rail on the Longhorns when they have a flat performance, or like the Rice game where it wasn't good. This is the setup. 90 degrees, cloudy. 7 o'clock night game. You can take your kids, and like I was one of the ones that left early in the Rice game. It's too damn hot, but you can do it this time. So don't come to us and be like the team looked flat on Saturday when you were flat as a fan, not giving them what they need, which is an amped up stadium. They need to walk into a home field advantage 30 minutes before kickoff, and if it's not there, then don't complain. Like, because you can't expect them to not to have the same emotions that you do and be like, oh, it's just Wyoming.
Y'all could hear Boga get excited about 90. Did you hear him lean into that 90 degrees? That's how you know it's been 107 every day. I mowed the lawn today in like 88 degrees. It was the greatest thing in the world. Like, it was unbelievable how cool it got.
I don't know the last. Hey, I really don't know the last time I mowed my lawn. This is not football related. But I tell you, the last house I lived in, as soon as I bought it, I moved in, and this lawn crew shows up the second day, and then they showed up the next Thursday, and the next Thursday, and the next Thursday. For 7 years, they kept showing up. I never received a bill.
Wow.
I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they kept coming. But I hid in my house every time they came because I didn't want them to ask me for payment because I was like, I don't know who y'all are.
They're just fans of number 5. They're fans of the great Chance Mock. Are you kidding me? Showing their appreciation.
Let's just keep doing a good job.
I guess that's what it was.
Yeah, as long as you're doing a good job and not billing me, that's fantastic. By the way, let's go ahead and maybe get to this right now because our man Chris Bennett, the super fan, said, you see the video Texas tweeted out with the new LED lights? It is amazing. Fellas, get ready for this one. We've been talking about it. I've been throwing pictures up and talking about this. Now Texas has thrown a video out. Check this out for Saturday night. Longhorn fans, tell me you're not going to get excited for this. Watch this.
Oh, it is so good. And I'm telling you.
Get ready for the aerial shots.
Oh. Like, and this is, I don't know necessarily this is for the players, but for me, it's for the fans, right? The experience of going to the game. Look, it's expensive to take a family of 4 to a football game, to a baseball game, to an NFL or MLB game, whatever. It's expensive. And there's a lot of people that are huge Longhorn fans that don't have the opportunity to go to a lot of games. This is one that you do. The tickets aren't going to be astronomical. All you season ticket holders, if you don't have enough pride to go to the game, give them to somebody that doesn't get an opportunity to go to the game every week. Let them be there.
No doubt.
Let them have an opportunity.
And plus, Chris, this team legitimately – what was the exact words? I didn't write it down.
They're legitimately worth a shit this year.
Legitimately worth a shit.
Dude, that's going to be a shirt.
That's going to be a shirt.
And that last chatter points it out. You know, the way it's going to change the atmosphere in the stadium and help things out depending on how they use it. It's awesome. I mean, I've talked about it. that I got to see it at Georgia. Bama's been doing it. There's other schools that have already been doing this. It's a perfect idea, and we'll see, how Texas utilizes it. But I just the 100,000 is a big one this time. The Rice game was a little under that number because just the opponent start the year. I guess it did a little sluggishness, I guess, with the fan base, and again, it was blazing hot 230 as well. Hopefully, this one does hit that 100,000. That reported number would be really good.
And you mentioned recruiting. There will be recruits there. Now, I don't know exactly which recruits it's going to be, and I honestly, that's not my point. There's going to be recruits that are in that stadium this week. You want to show them what Texas is this week. Like every week, you're reinventing yourself to show new potential players for the future what Texas is. It's not just the big games. It's every game. We need the fans in the stands, and the weather can't be an excuse.
Yeah,
well,
that's a good point.
Here's one for you, Bo. I know you don't know. DeCorian Moore, a 5-star receiver, commit to LSU. Okay? He's going to be in Austin this weekend. If you don't think big games matter, they matter. They matter to these kids. They matter to them to be able to be in their high school because they're all self-absorbed. That's what they are. And to be able to to go to a cool place. Texas, because of what they did last weekend, now they got to continue it. It's on to the next. I mean, you want to talk about the goldfish effect, the 3-second memory? Fans have a 3-second memory. We won. I tell you what, you don't play well this weekend, they're not going to give a rat's ass what you did last weekend. It won't matter. That's why you have to continue it on. But just as a prime example of what you were talking about, Bo, big recruits will be there. It's Wyoming. Still a big game for them. More reason for the fans to actually show up and be loud and show them what the experience is.
Because Chance, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but recruits are picking their recruiting weekend. Yes, sometimes it's the big game that they want to get a ticket to, but sometimes it's based around their high school team's football schedule and what's the weekend that they can actually bring their family and take an official. Like, it's not like, oh, well, Texas is only playing Wyoming. That may be some kid from St. Louis's only opportunity to come take an official. I'm just mentioning that like the Ryan Wingo wide receiver. It could be any of them, but
no.
Friday,
I'm telling you, these are all unofficial visits. The official visits for all these kids will happen in December, right around the time of the bowl selection and the banquet, and it'll be they'll have 25 recruits in at one time all together, going back to the Corey Redding story when we had Albert Hollis in and DJ Williams, and I was there, and they want to show up. And what Corey didn't want to tell you is that Albert Hollis, he told Corey, I want to go to a different club. And Corey's like, no, our teammates are here. Yeah, he had the camcorder out and everything else. And they were like, no, we want to go over to this club because it was more ethnically inclined to what he was used to. And Corey was like, no, our teammates are here and we're not leaving here. And that's the point of having all those guys in at one time is let's build a bond. Let's build a family. That way it's almost peer pressure. Man, I'm coming here. You coming here? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So then you start getting everybody. That's what happens.
Yeah, the list is growing. Wingo, Moore, and others will be in the house on Saturday night. All right, it is just about that time. The interviews are sponsored. Bo, let's tell people about Last Stand before we get before Chance and Adam Dunn get reacquainted.
Of course, Last Stand, the true fans brand. I'm wearing a hat right now, and I'm telling you, I wrote it down because when I told you the Last Stand Hat Company is going to make a hat for the outsiders, well, one of them is going to have this script letter, and it's going to say, legitimately worth a shit, because we're going to start marketing those bad boys. Last Stand can do anything you want. It's not just the Longhorns. They have Texas State. They have North Texas. They have Texas Tech. They have a variety of schools. Last Stand, you got a code right there, QR code, Outsiders10. Get you a discount on a hat. One of these all gas, no brakes that we hope happen for the rest of the year. Last Stand, and now they're moving into apparel. They have some golf shirts. Go look at their website, and you'll find something you like at the Last Stand Hats website, right there on the QR code.
All right, and there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. 462. Is it 462, Adam? Is that what it is?
Give or take a few. Yeah.
Give or take yeah. For those of us that have hit 0, we can remember that number really, really well.
So can I. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, look, so appreciate you coming. What are you drinking? It is a What You Drinking Wednesday. What you got today?
Oh, I just actually just finished. That was a Heaven Hill 17-year-old little bourbon. And then I've got a backup of this is a little ranch water, little nightcapper.
Hey, that's Sinisi's favorite drink, and he's got a real it's his favorite. And don't ever let him make you one because you won't walk out of there straight. I can promise you.
Challenge accepted.
All right, so look, you heard the last segment. We were talking about the fans. You played, and we're going to get into more Texas football in a minute, but you played in a sport where you have 162 games. You're constantly on the road. You're playing 28, 29 days out of the month during the season. Most of the time, unless it's a Sunday night game or, one of those big broadcast games, there's not a lot of people in the stands. As a player, how do you get up for the games when there's not a whole lot going on? I mean, I know personally, I took every game personal, but I mean, we're only playing 12 to 16 games a year. Y'all had 162. How do these kids handle a game after Alabama coming into Wyoming?
Yeah. So going by the baseball, that was the biggest adjustment, right? So you're used to, high school. You're used to, even in college, you're used to playing in front of people. And is it messed up?
No, you're good.
Okay. And, when I went straight to baseball, we're used to staying at these nice hotels in college and all that. And all of a sudden you get to minor league baseball and it's Motel 6. And I'm like, man, this isn't what I signed up for, playing in front of nobody. Get to the big leagues and it's the same thing. It's just, you stay in nicer hotels, play in nicer ballparks. But, it's really hard to play that many games. I mean, it is. It's a different kind of, you get nicked up differently, right? You don't get your shit pushed in the dirt, right? Like football, but in baseball, it's your little ankle turns into this snowballs, and that's the hard part about ringing the bell every single day. I mean, you have to do it internally because you're not getting any outside, any outside help, and in football, that's that can get you through a lot, man. When you have those people going crazy, man.
So I know you're a football fan. I know you love watching it. Give me your quick take on the Alabama game this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't be more proud. And win or lose that game, that's the first time in a long time that, it's physicality. I mean, it was we didn't get pushed around. It was, we matched their physicality. We got, we ran the ball good enough. I mean, at the end, I think we had 6.5 minutes to go, and everybody in the world knows. And I'm sitting there going, "Here we go. We're not going to be able to run the ball, right?" We ran it down their throat enough they never got the ball back. That's huge. And I think Coach called a phenomenal game. I'm talking aggressive, awesome. It was great, man. I just hope that keeps up and we don't have a letdown this week.
So when I look at your football career, let's go to that. I mentioned it earlier in the first segment of how the first time I met you, and you wouldn't remember it I would say you wouldn't remember it from Adam, but I mean, that's a little cliche for that. So you wouldn't remember it, but I met you at the Montgomery County Fair. And when I met you, you were a senior in high school and you were headed to Texas. And I mean, you were the dog. You were everybody. I mean, you were the gold standard. And I remember meeting you and going, man, can I ever play at this next level? Was there ever a thought in your mind of baseball's done, I'm going to go to Texas, I'm going to play football, and that's what I'm going to do?
Yeah. I mean, all the way up until I left Texas. I mean, I thought that was like I was playing baseball as long as they're dumb enough to let me play college football and pay me to play baseball. I'm doing it as long as I can. At that time, I never thought the roles would be reversed, where football is the one I was giving up. And So, I mean, to answer your question, I thought that I would be playing football longer than I would baseball, obviously.
So I look back, Coach Davis, when I got to Texas, Coach Davis absolutely loved you. I don't know if you felt that while you were there.
Absolutely. Challenge flag. No chance. No. Negative.
Well, in post talking about it,
Oh, okay.
Greg loved you.
Okay.
And did you play for Brew?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they moved you to tight end.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And which is absolutely astonishing to me because you threw the ball like a freaking Peyton Manning. I mean, it was insane. But that moment when you realized, all right, I'm going to go play baseball. I'm going to take this money and go. Like, how did that decision come about?
Quick, and again, it wasn't about the money, right? And I know everybody's like, yeah. And if it was about the money, I would have done all that and been drafted in the first round of baseball and gotten a lot more money. It wasn't about that. It was about I'm getting to do what I want to do, and that's going to play football. It didn't work out the way I was pretty sure it was going to work out. It didn't work out the way. And 95% of it was my fault. All good. I can live with that. But, as far as how it all went down, it was basically I'm 18 years old. I've got a general manager for the Reds. Every time I go back to my dorm room, there's a recording on our answer machine because we had answer machines, wasn't that long.
I had one in Jester, bro.
Everybody did, right? Okay. So I would have him because like, hey, just hope your day went great. Just letting you know, I'm sitting there watching Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Larkin, and you sure would look good hitting in between them. Hope your day's going great down there. And every day, I'm like, golly. So you have one bad day, things aren't working out. 18 years old, I called my agent. I said, hey man, like it's time. Go ahead and call Jim and tell him, I'm ready to come to baseball. And this would have been a Friday. Monday, I'm sitting in KJ's class, 8 a.m., sitting there, and my phone rings, and it's him, and I walk out, and he's like, hey, it's done. I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, it's done. Like, do you report what it was, Friday or something? I'm like, shit. Like, what seriously, I was like, what just happened? And this goes back to, like, one of the coolest moments I've ever had in my entire life was so now I'm like, okay, all right, gather yourself. I walk out of class, and I go and like, how am I going to tell Coach Brown? I see Hodges Mitchell, who's lived right next to me. And, I tell him, he's like, dude, go see Coach Brown. He'll talk you out of it. So I go see Coach Brown and Coach Davis. They were going to lunch, I think, or breakfast or something. And Coach Brown was like, look, if you're my kid, I'm going to tell you to probably go do that. Hate to lose you, blah, 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 and all this. And this is where I know Coach Davis. I'm sitting there. He didn't say a word. I'm like, I got you, man. I got you. But anyway, that was the hardest decision I ever made in my life. But, again, where I was going with this was one of the coolest things that's ever happened was when I was packing up my room at Jester, it was Casey Hampton, Sean. I'm not name dropping. I'm just saying this is how cool it was. Like all the big dogs came and helped me pull up, take all my stuff, pack up my stuff, put it in my truck. I'm driving home. There's my agent's got this big news conference, like it's some big deal at his house. And I'm sitting driving home thinking about, all right, well, there's a good tree. Then I'll probably do it. Like, should I jump this bridge, end it? Cause my life's over. I just gave up the one thing that I love and the one place that I love. And I've been working my whole life to try to get there. And now I'm leaving it. But that's how it all went down. Kind of. That's not what you asked, but I figured I'd tell you anyway.
Well, I can get it. I mean, you made the decision that I was not strong enough to make. We'll put it that way, and it turned out really well. And it was a phenomenal thing for me to watch because I admired you growing up and watching what you were doing here in Montgomery County. Because I mean, we're a proud county. We take pride in what we do, and I watched this guy, and then all of a sudden, Adam, you changed the sport of baseball. You made the long ball like a valuable thing. Like it was unbelievable. So let's go back to Texas football because I got to bring it up. There was a time, and this has been it's been told to me by a lot of guys, mainly Chris Sims, who wasn't there at the time, but apparently there was a dust up with Major, where Major, and trust me, I know this more than anybody. Major likes to pull the "I'm the starter" card, and I wasn't a big fan of that, and I didn't like it very much. But apparently, you made it more clear to him than I did.
Yeah, that's true. I could only take that so many times because, you know, he was a very good quarterback, right? I'm not taking anything away. He was
Good at checking the ball down.
He was a very good quarterback. He was really good. He was great for the University of Texas at that time. But it's hard to sit there and hear this little Oompa Loompa, bump his gums when you know that you're probably a little better than him. So
that you're the guy.
I don't know. I don't want to take anything away, man. The guy's a legend. Like, let's be honest. Like, the kid's a legend, man. Yeah, there was times there he needed to be put in his place or his locker, and that happened.
Or his locker. All right. So real quick, I've got to go to a little quick 30-second break, and then I'm going to bring in Chad Hastings. Is that all right? Can you hang around for just a minute?
Yeah. It's cutting into my bedtime. We're all good.
I know it's cutting into my bedtime. Let me tell you, I'm drinking El Tiquilino. It is my favorite. I don't know if I pronounce it right. That's the way that they say it on the YouTube machine, as our friend
let's get some of it.
likes to say. But I do love El Tiquilino. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's been here since 1959. It's one of only 4 distilleries in the entire country that actually uses natural spring water. It's fantastic. It's pure. It's hangover free unless you drink too much. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I will tell you they've got everything. They've won over 4 of the top-notch liquors of the year. It's phenomenal. I'm drinking it right now. Water, Tiquilino. I don't even have to make it into a margarita. I'm a margarita freak. I don't need to because the stuff is so good. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 5:30. I'm going to go to the gym because I don't have all the impurities. That's how good it is. El Tiquilino. Scan that QR code. Check it out. It's fantastic. Chad. You need
bring
some.
everybody back in here with Adam Dunn. Adam, we appreciate your time so much. Since Chance asked the Major Applewhite question, let me add one because earlier today, Jeff Ketchum of Orangebloods said you got to ask Adam Dunn this question. He heard a story that Major used to bake cookies for Greg Davis, and it upset you in some way. Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah, drove me nuts. Yeah, true story.
True
story.
Just drove you crazy? What was it about it?
We're a grown man baking another grown man that happened to be a position coach cookies. Yeah.
Would I be remiss in asking what kind of cookies were these? Chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin? What the hell were they?
I don't know. They ended up against the wall half the time. I have no idea.
You just started lobbing the cookies out of the room?
I'm not eating cookies that Major's going to make. Believe me.
Probably a good choice. All right, Chris Abbott, you want to ask Adam Dunn something?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
I'm good. Hey, listen, I'm a baseball junkie, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the 10-year-old kid in me question, and that is, I just want to know, all those years you played, who was the toughest guy you faced at the plate? The toughest pitcher that threw against you, in your opinion?
Well, if you look at my stats, there's a whole bunch of them. But if I had to pick one, it was probably that was probably an easy answer. But let's see, I'm trying to think of another one that was kind of like.
Well, I know Randy was so long. I mean, you have a hard time picking up the ball. I mean, it comes out so late.
He's left-handed. He steps, over there and threw. Problem with Randy, threw 100 miles an hour, which is cool, like everybody does, right? But it would be 100 at your ear. and then it would be a 88-mile-an-hour slider, paint on the other, perfect on the outside corner, and you're like, I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do about it? Like, I'm not getting like, look, dude, I'll strike out 3 times not swinging. I'm not getting hit in the face. Like, it ain't happening.
Yeah, but you also hit 40 home runs a year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh yeah, but all you gotta do is have 40 good swings. Think about it.
Along those lines, Adam, though, if Randy would have plunked you, would you have gone straight out to the mound and put him in a locker to where he would have known that he shouldn't throw inside?
Like, yeah, no doubt. He knows that. Yeah, I played with him in Arizona. Yeah, he's Charmin. He's just really, really good pitcher.
Now that's a fight I'd like to see. I'm with Adam. I don't think that one would have lasted too long. Jason Dick, you got something for Adam?
Adam, thanks for being on the show, man. I have long maintained that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in all of sports to do. And I developed this opinion striking out twice a game as a JV catcher at Round Rock High School. As somebody who hit 462 Major League Baseball home runs, what do you think? Pick your poison. A Major League fastball, slider. Is that harder? Hitting a baseball, is it harder? Or anything in football? Anything possible in football?
Yes. Yeah, it's the hardest thing. I mean, again, there's so much that goes into it. I mean, yes, I think single-handedly that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing. Because I've seen some of the greatest athletes try to hit a baseball, and it looks like, awful. Like I've seen LeBron James in batting practice swing and miss 17 straight times. Like that's impossible, right?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Just a quick follow up because I think this will be good. Would you imagine that Major Applewhite would be good at hitting baseball?
Let's see. He's pretty hand-eye. Yeah, probably. No, definitely not.
Hey, but if he baked the umpire cookies, then he might get a favorable strike zone. So
Yeah. His cookies sucked, so he wouldn't.
I gotta ask Adam. In the background, there's a 15 jersey. Is that your Longhorn jersey hanging in the background? Other side.
Oh no, no, that's funny. No, those are my high school jerseys.
Oh, okay.
That means a lot. Yeah, I don't even have a Longhorn jersey up here. I mean, I do, but it's not hanging up like that.
That's even further back.
Yeah.
Adam, I was going to ask you we were talking about the home run thing. I can only imagine that feeling of what it's like to hit a major league home run. Was there something in football for you that compared or was better than that? Was there a feeling you got in football that was bigger than the home run or equal to it? What was it?
So that was the one thing that I always tried to duplicate, right? It's that build up to the game, right? To the football game. It's that build up. It's everything that builds up to those 3 hours, 3.5 hours, whatever it is, of that game. I was all still this day. I still try to find I want that feeling. I want it. Baseball, man, you'd get it like opening day, and then at least for me, I was like always searching for that feeling. I'm telling you, if you could bottle that up, Chance, you know what I'm talking about. If you could bottle that up,
yeah,
you could throw all these drugs out the window, man. It's the best drug in the world, and it's something that I've been chasing forever. I mean, I don't know how you can. That's one thing football has that I don't care what anybody says. No other sport, no other hobby, whatever that you're gonna get is what those guys get Saturday night.
So Adam, you had you hit on it like it's like a freaking nail just getting driven by the hammer. Like you hit it. For me, I was probably better at baseball. And, my sophomore, junior year, I was throwing 95, 96. I was better at baseball than I was at football. I'm not going to talk about my at-bat against Josh Beckett because it didn't look really good. But Sinisi did take him yard. But, you look at – that was my thing, man. Like, that's why I stuck with football over baseball, was because that man-to-man, like, you're a man's man. I mean, I don't know if people realize that you're a hunter, you're a fisher, you're an outdoorsman, you're a tough guy. You're the guy that if there's a brawl that breaks out in the bar, you're the guy that I want next to me, right?
Probably started it back then, actually.
Yeah, well, that's why we didn't hang out too much, because we'd have both been starting shit and it'd have been a real freaking
It
problem.
was usually, it wasn't me starting it back then.
But, how hard is it for somebody that's so used to that adrenaline rush? Like, it's man to man, it's you versus me. I'm about to beat your ass. To go to a game where it's like, all right, well, now it's a strategic game, right?
Mhm.
All right, so I know what you like to throw in a 2-1 count. What are you throwing at me now, right?
Yeah.
Like, how was that adjustment?
That's the adjustment. That was the hardest thing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would sit back there and I'd be 0 for 5, over 8, over 10, over 12, or 4 for 5, and just like, man, I want to go back. Like, I want to go back. I know I can go back. 3 months. Give me 3 months. I could go back. Like, I literally, I've got so many stories of calling my agent going, dude, just give me a tryout. Like, I don't care where. I don't care if it's Canadian Football League. Just give me one, and I'll take, give me 3 months, and then if I can't make it, then we can always go back to baseball.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Interesting stuff. All right, anybody got anything else for Adam Dunn?
I got one more.
Come on.
You've been on a few rosters, but when you're sitting at home having a nice bourbon or a cold beer, what baseball team do you actually want to watch play and you're rooting for to win at this point, now that you're retired from the game?
I mean, I watch the Astros because my kids are, as they should be, right? Diehard Astro fans. But, man, it's really, really hard for me to watch what – I don't want to sound like an old fart, man, because I'm not. I caught the tail end of what I call, the old school baseball, and then caught the kind of the beginning of this new age. Hey, look at me, show ponies out there that they hit a homer and it's a bat flipping contest, and you look up and like, dang, who's that guy? He's got two. He's got two career homers. I'm like, wow, man.
He's only 460 short of you, bro.
But it's just, it drives me nuts to watch. They're uber talented. I mean, obviously these guys are, freaks of nature, and it's just it's very hard to sit and watch a baseball game.
Well, Adam, so you said something to our team when we were hitting in the batting cages before one of our games, and Sinisi was like, hey, you got anything to tell to our kids? And I can't remember exactly how you phrased it, but it was one of the greatest phrases I've ever heard, is if you want to hit single, if you want to own, or if you want to drive a Mercedes, hit singles.
Yeah.
If you want to own one, hit home runs.
Yeah. If you want to drive Mercedes, hit 300. It's cute, right? If you want to own their dealership, you hit homers. And that's
I
all
love
there's
it.
to it. Yeah.
So then my son was like, all right, Dad, I got to change my swing. I got to hit for homers.
Yeah, especially little kids, man. We can talk about little, bore the audience here, but, these kids don't they swing, they're like robots. In baseball, it's one thing. You can't be a robot, man. Like, you have to, I love to hit with music and rhythm, and you can't just sit there and like, oh, here's an outside pitch, let me slap it over here, and here's an inside pitch, let me slap it over here. It's like clubbing baby seals. I mean, you got to ghetto hacking, especially young. Like, you don't know your swing things. So many things change when you're young, man, and strength fixes all that. But if you're out there just trying to put the ball in play, I can't help you.
All right, Adam, last question, because we have to talk Texas football, because I could pepper you with questions about baseball because it's my passion all day, but Texas football, have you bought in to what Sark's doing?
100%. 100%. And I'm telling you, the selling point to me was how physical and how the end of the game went down. I just knew with 6.5, 7 minutes to go, it's like 3 and out, right? We're not going to be able to run the ball. We're not going to be able to control the ball. We're going to give them – they're going to score quick, and then it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a nail biter towards – nope, it was – they're never getting the ball again. And I'm like, that's it, man. That's the toughness. That's the physicality that, in my opinion, as a fan, has been lacking, a long time.
Well, you and I both have been just gagging watching this team play for a long time. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really nice to see somebody willing to go punch somebody in the mouth. I mean, not to bring up Montgomery County anymore, but that's kind of how we operate. Like, you just go hit somebody in the mouth and let's see how it turns out, right?
Yeah, and if you get hit in the mouth, okay, you check it and okay, come back a little harder. So no, I was happy, man. I really hope that this, Saturday night, it's a building, not a setback, right? It's to continue this way and not that way. And
Jason,
I don't think so.
Sorry, Adam.
Very good.
I have one more. Adam, I just had one more, kind of the other side of what Jason asked you earlier about who was or maybe it was Chris, who's the toughest you faced. Before we let you go, when you're sipping that bourbon and there's some discussion in the room and you feel like you need to put somebody in their place, what's your I took blank yard? What's your most proud moment where you can go, man, that guy, that badass pitcher, I took him into the seats. Who is he?
There were a couple of them.
Name me one. Who comes to your head?
Pedro.
Multiple offender.
Multiple times. What about Roger?
I think I got him once or twice.
Got him once or twice? Okay.
Do you have a row of like all your home run balls where you're like looking at the victims?
I'm looking. When I retired, one of my old teammates made a list of the names, and it has all the names on it right here. So I'm like,
oh my God, the list. That's even better than saying
kinda
you
cool.
did it.
Yeah,
You just
so
refer
like,
people to. You refer
That's
them to the list.
legitimately not.
there's a list. Yeah,
I couldn't-
multiple offenders. There's some one and dones on there, some one hit wonders, but
Dunn,
That's awesome.
Adam, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight
I appreciate
on
it.
this What You Drinking Wednesday. I know this. It was one of those things when you went to Texas, and I told Corey Redding this. When you went there, it was one of those things like my ears perked up. I was like, well, what's Texas doing? Because at that time they weren't really where they are, where they'd gotten. And so that was one of those things. So you were always a trendsetter. And, like you said, you came in at a time in baseball that it was the Kirby Puckett, the Tony Gwynn, the never strike out. We're just going to slap the ball around. And you gave us you made the sport of baseball better. And that's what's phenomenal to me. And, I am a firm believer that there's an HOF in your future, and we'll see where that turns out. But the fact that you gave us a little bit of time tonight was phenomenal, and I appreciate you, brother. I really do.
No, I appreciate the kind words, man. And I love what y'all got going on. It's pretty awesome. Y'all sets are pretty awesome. I need to step my game up. So I'd love to come on again and talk shop, man. You guys do a great job, man. Thank y'all for having me.
You have an open invitation, my boy.
I'll see you next Wednesday.
There it is.
Done. Next Wednesday, Adam Dunn.
All right, deal.
Did we just
All
add
right,
a
we'll
sixth
lock it in.
outsider?
We will lock it in. That is fantastic. Adam Dunn, he's taken so many famous people yard. He's like, I don't know, pick a name. It's on a list over here. I took them all out. Pedro a few times.
He's got
Roger,
462 home runs. Think about it.
462.
So
That's-
cool. So cool.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. And also, I liked, fellas, there's just something about that baseball football discussion. When I think about Keith Moreland has always said he stood at home plate in the World Series. He was on a World Series champion team, but nothing ever compares to Texas OU Tunnel. And then you got a guy like Adam Dunn who hit 462 jacks, knows what it's like to take Pedro deep. But he told us he chased
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. But he chased the feeling of football. Chance, that's such an interesting comment from him that it didn't, not like it cursed him or anything, but it's just he admitted that's the
But
feeling.
it resonates, Chad. It resonates because, like I said, for me, I was a better baseball player than I was a football player. But that drive that football gives you, that before the game, that, all right, I'm about to go up against a dude. It's not like he's throwing me a baseball and I'm trying to hit it. Like, I'm about to beat your ass, like physically.
Right.
I'm going to beat you. And that kind of stuff, that adrenaline, that's what's hard to replace. That's what football players struggle with when they retire. That's the struggle. Like, that's the hard thing. Like, how do you replace that that adrenaline high that you get every time you step on that field, that rush, that it's man to man. It's the modern day gladiator, right? Like that's what you're doing. You're stepping into the arena, and most people are scared to step in that arena. They're scared to step in there because they're afraid of failing. And the ability to go in there in front of all these people, knowing the criticism if you don't succeed, but knowing the reward if you do, that's what makes this great game so freaking great.
Yeah, that's great stuff. It is The Outsiders on this Wednesday night. Thanks again to Adam Dunn. Another incredible interview. When we tell you Chance Mock is setting up interviews, we ain't lying. He's got a hell of a run going right now. And apparently it's Adam Dunn every Wednesday from now on.
Well, I thought
We're
it was going to
done.
be
Literally.
the sixth member of the Outsiders would be Adam Dunn, and we'll just add another. There's one more tile that we could add in there.
It might be. We might need to dial that Wi-Fi up just a little bit. But other than that, I mean, let's go.
Wi-Fi's overrated. Get out of here.
Hey, his voice worked the entire time. I don't care how the video lagged.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I'm so glad we got the confirmation on both Major Applewhite stories. So that is fantastic.
Can I tell you guys, there was a time in my life, Major Applewhite was my favorite Longhorn ever. Now, he's done certain things since then to perhaps knock him off that top spot. But just listening to you guys across the board dunk on Major Applewhite, I was like, oh, no.
Oh, I could tell you stories, but I'm telling them off the YouTube machine.
Yeah.
It's when you realize that the Major you liked was like Ben Stiller from one of the bad Ben Stiller movie characters from like Dodgeball. Like that's Major Applewhite.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got nothing but good Major stories. I don't have any of those Major stories. I've never had the cookies. I'm sure they were fantastic.
No, they weren't.
No, they probably weren't. All right. Before we go any further, and we are going to get into a little bit more into Texas and Wyoming in terms of what the guys are expecting from Texas, who they'd really like to see have that extra keep things going from Alabama, who they're looking for good performances from. We'll get into that. But first, Bo, tell them about Capital Solar.
Well, as Chris coined the catchphrase earlier, legitimately worth the shit. This company is way beyond that. Capital Solar. Are you tired of hearing about turning your air conditioner up? I know the temperature dropped today and it's rained a little bit, but it'll be back up again. And you're not going to want to have your AC set at 78 or whatever they tell you. You want to reduce your tax liability? Capital Solar is your team. They can help you turn one of your house's largest operational expenses into an asset. If you own your house but rent your electricity, use the power of the Texas sun to become more energy independent with no money down. It's very simple. Hit the QR code. Reach out, Capital Solar USA. They'll give you a free consultation. They'll come out. They'll tell you exactly how you'll be able to get the assistance from the government and everything else to make it an affordable thing to have your own energy source, rain or shine. It's Capital Solar USA.
It is The Outsiders, and we are rolling through a Wednesday night. It's a What Are You Drinking Wednesday? Why don't we have a 49-0 toast? Gentlemen, 49-0. Still living in the hearts and minds.
I had to go to my backup like my Waterburger cup is empty.
Pro move.
There you go.
Pro move
Earlier
just with a backup drink. That was great.
By the way, for What You Drinking Wednesday, I got to give Chris shit. I mean, that is terrible.
But he's drinking sweet tea.
Sweet tea from Waterburger. I went meet the Timberwolves.
You could put vodka in the Waterburger sweet tea. I'm just saying.
Dude, patty melt, large fries, cook the kids. I was feeling the sweet tea, man. It was really, really good.
Well, are we getting checks from Waterburger? We should be getting paid for this.
No. Well, we'll talk later. I have you in with Waterburger.
Hey, Chance, if I put alcohol in a Waterburger sweet tea, does that make it a Corpus Christi sweet tea? Like, is that
I think it has to be, right?
Is that what you call that? Okay, I'm just making sure.
I think it has to be.
Just making sure. Shout out to Waterburger, born in Corpus Christi, Texas in 1950, 9 years before El Tiquilino started firing it up, if I'm not mistaken. And 12 years before Specs cranked it up in 1962. Shout out to Specs for the Specs chat. A lot of great chats coming in tonight as well. We get ready for Texas and Wyoming. All right, gentlemen, as we roll through this part of the show, I want to know, what do you need to see from Texas in this game, and who do you need to see it from? The expectation level goes up when you beat Bama in Bama. So what do you want to see? Who do you want to see it from? Chris, I'm going to start with you. What do you like?
Yeah, I need to see that same attitude against this Wyoming group. I want to see them come out and completely just take over this first quarter, real similar to what they did in Bama, quite honestly. I need to see that. What do I want to see? I would really love to see Brooks, Baxter, these guys take over the running game. I want to see one of those guys come out and have themselves, a 120-yard game and a touchdown. I want to see a dominating performance from one of those backs, if not two. But again, what do I need to see? I need to see that attitude again. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I loved it from yours. I loved it from the whole team. That's what I want.
We'll see if it continues. Jason Dick, what do you think?
First of all, can I say that inspired by Adam Dunn, I took that last break and I made a list of every pitcher I ever took deep, and it's McNeil JV pitcher number 13. End of list. That's all.
A good list. I never did that. I haven't done that. That's one more than me. Well done.
Hey, I will tell you, Jason, I will tell you, my sophomore year, I'm pitching and I'm also batting the 5-hole, hitting against a guy named Josh Beckett. And the guy that was catching was a guy named Steven Gutzman. And Goots is like, hey, bro, what do you want? I said, I want the freaking heater. Bring it. He was throwing 98, 99 in high school. I said, bring that heater. So he throws a heater, and he throws it like right here. Like Adam was saying, like, I'm not eating 98. Not happening. So I back up, and I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. He goes, I thought you wanted the heater. I said, no, I wanted it like over the plate. He goes, all right, it's coming. I get a slider at 88 miles an hour, and I looked like a freaking idiot swinging at it. He strikes me up on 4 pitches. Then I go on the bump. He's batting 3-hole for spring. I throw him a slider outside. He takes me opposite field off the freaking scoreboard. I was like, you dick.
Pretty good.
And then you decided to play quarterback again.
Yeah.
No, that's when I was like, I'm really going to be good at this shit.
Yeah, to that football energy. That's what you're looking for.
To the actual topic, how about just an absolute ass kicking? All right, the ass kicking that we didn't see versus Rice. I guess to echo what Chris said, basically a perfect game, but versus Alabama. But we didn't really see the running backs get off. So yeah, let's see some explosive plays in the run game, and just like let's have this not be a contest in the second half. All right, let me get some Malik Murphy and Arch Manning snaps in this game because the game is absolutely over by 9 p.m.
All right, Bo Ed, you told us earlier what you expect from the fans. You want them to show up and be big time. What about the players? What do you want?
I think, what I want to see is that the players that stepped up in the Alabama game, David Benda, who looked like he's looked good in flashes, but he looked like a guy that belonged on an SEC caliber football field on that game. Like, I want those guys to maintain that performance against Wyoming when there's a little less to get amped up for. It's not the ESPN night game. It's not playing in Alabama. I want to see the guys that had those performances duplicate those performances. I'm not talking about like Anthony Hill. We all expect that performance week to week. We had that conversation about 5 stars are going to do what they do. I'm talking about guys that are less than 5 stars. David Benda, for instance, and I'm not singling out David Benda. I'm just saying those guys that flashed need to keep flashing.
Yeah, a lot of flashes. They don't say that in the city park. Those guys that flash need to keep flashing. But on a football field, I know exactly what you're talking about. Chance Mock, what do you need to see? Who do you need to see it from?
So my thing is easy. And there's no one particular person. I want to see obviously, I want to see Quinn continue to do his thing. My big thing is I want to see a clean football game. I want to see intensity. To me, and we talked about this on Monday, this game was equivalent to me as a 2005 Ohio State game where Texas found that identity early. They went in. Everybody comes into the season. Everybody thinks we're going to be good this year. Well, maybe not everybody. Maybe Rice knew what they were getting into. But the big schools, right, the Blue Bloods, the ones that you expect to be up there, expect that, right? Well, I want to see Texas use that game as a springboard. Again, Ohio State 05. 2019, LSU came into Texas. That's where they got their roots. And what did they end up doing? That's where they learned who they are. We know who you are. Now it's your job to go finish the mission every single week. And it's a week-by-week proposition. You can't do it. You can't blink and you're at the end of the season. You have to go week by week. So what do I want to see? I want to see a clean game. I don't want to see a bunch of penalties. I don't want to see a bunch of lazy missed tackles because you're not interested in this week. I think it's one of those things. We used to have up downs every Sunday for NOSs, every Sunday. And the coaches would go back and watch the film, and anything that was an NOS, not our standard, we would have to do an up down for it. And every player, we would be in an entire circle in the middle of DKR. And the coach would sit out there and he'd go, all right, so-and-so, you had 3 NOSs and the entire team. And he would have to say, I'm so-and-so, and I had 3 NOSs, the whole team, 3 up downs. Not our standard, not our standard, not our standard. That's what this weekend is to me. Play to our standard. And Quinn, let's be honest. Quinn has been phenomenal in big games. His knock has been he plays down to the talent of the team he's playing. This is a game. Now he's in the Heisman conversation. He's in there. And this is the time he goes out and puts up those kind of numbers, does his thing, shows that he is the guy that we think he is, and let's play to our standard. Let's not play down to the standard of Wyoming. Play to our standard.
It's a really interesting point, and this whole notion, this whole John Wick thing they're doing this year of we're not going to be the targeted ones. We're going to put a target on them. It's easy to say in Tuscaloosa because it's Bama, but let's see what the attitude looks like when it's Wyoming, when they know it's – I know Wyoming beat Texas Tech, but everybody goes into this, fans, players, and everything, expecting not a win, but a win that looks a certain way. Are they ready to accept that responsibility? Because that's kind of what it is to me, Bo. It's a responsibility to go into a game and everybody thinks you're going to win it, something to 10.
Well, it's a 28.5 point spread.
Yeah.
And people like to look at the lines as some, deviation. No, the lines are what Vegas legitimately thinks the game should be. Now, you could play it tries to level off, to the action to an extent. Like you can maybe give 2 or 3 points because it's the Longhorns or Notre Dame or somebody like that. The analysts think this is going to be a blowout. What Texas fans need to understand, or I hope they understand, and I'm one of them because I'm going to be screaming at the same way, a 21 or 24 point victory is okay. Like, I'm not saying you have to see how it plays out. Jason and Chris said they want to see a running attack. They want to see Jaden Blue. They want to see Jonathan Brooks. I don't think CJ Baxter would play that much if it was a blowout because he's nursing an injury. If Texas runs the ball and controls the clock and goes to the half 31-3, and in the second half decides to put a lot of the young guys in, because this is the one real chance for the rest of the season to get these young guys some reps at a night game at DKR. I'm not going to, if the final score ends up being 45-14 or 45 to whatever, 21, because a bunch of backups are in there, that doesn't faze me. I want those guys getting reps. I want to see the starters put the hurt on them. And whenever Sark decides to pull them out, that's fine. Whether or not, I think the biggest problem with the Rice game is there were too many people that were pissed. They bet on the Longhorns to cover and they didn't. So they looked at the game through a lens of that didn't meet my expectations. The point spread is not the expectation. The performance is.
All right, just about time to sweep the floors and lock the doors, gentlemen. Bo, let's tell them about Stuffed Cajun Meat Market. Have you gotten your boudin dip from Jason yet?
No, because he's supposed to take it to his tailgate this weekend. Correct, Jason?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that acceptable if I just get a bunch of stuffed foods for my own tailgate and then you come and collect?
If you choose not to get the boudin dip and you choose to get a bunch of the sausages like the Louisiana Lightning or the boudin or the Texas pecan boudin, yes, you can have that. Because when I show up at your tailgate about 5:30 or 6, because I got to coach youth football before that, and when I show up at your tailgate, there better be some stuffed food at your tailgate, and that's you paying off the bet.
All right. I'm going to keep it in the VIP section for you.
I have to ask you, Bo, do they still have the Tiger sausage?
Yes, they do.
Because it is the best sausage I've ever had in my entire life.
I know. I've had to drop ship it to you in the Woodlands like 3 times. So that dry ice ain't cheap.
Hey, and let me tell you something. That is a pork blend sausage that has cream cheese bits in it that are freaking phenomenal.
Like you know how good of a friend you have to be to text your buddy like, hey, can you get 20 pounds of sausage and FedEx it to me on dry ice this afternoon?
I don't care about you. I'm saying how good is damn stuffed foods
Well,
that that's what I asked you to do.
I went and got the sausage and sent it to you, but that should tell you how good the sausage is that you were willing to ask for that favor.
Hell
That's
yeah.
friendship. That's friendship is what that is.
Well,
That is
friendship.
not just changing a tire. That is shipping meat to someone. That's a bond is what that is.
That was a 3-stop trip because I had to go do stuff to get it, then go to the FedEx, and they were out of dry ice, and then I had to go to another FedEx.
But if you want to know, that's how damn good stuffed foods is.
And you know how much I got? I got none of it because I sent it all to you.
There you go. So if you need that, check out Stuffed Foods. The only thing I need is Colt in a poncho shirt. Come on, Colt. That's Colt fishing in a poncho shirt. Go to ponchooutdoors.com. Bo, I haven't asked you this question yet, so I'm going to ask it now. I've got the short sleeve, the black and the white, the Bandera and the Del Rio.
Yeah.
Is it acceptable if I play golf in those shirts or not?
You damn right it is.
Because
Even
I've
have your
never
pocket
played
for your
golf.
cell phone. You're good.
I've never played golf with mother of pearl snaps. It feels too fancy. Am I okay doing
I played
that?
golf with no shirt, shoes, or no shoes. I played
All right.
barefoot. It's just a matter of when you do it.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I may try it out. That's Colt in the camo. Check that out. PonchoOutdoors.com for all the incredible stuff. They are really, really comfortable shirts, comfortable, stylish, cool little sneaky pockets and things little details they've thought of that you wouldn't even think of. And as Bo has pointed out, those magnetic snaps on the mother of pearl, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's incredible stuff.
Boom.
Yeah. PonchoOutdoors.com. All right. So tomorrow night, back here at 9:00, Chance is going to tell you a little bit about the Wyoming Cowboys. I looked up a little bit on them. We've all probably seen little bits and pieces as they did beat Texas Tech at home earlier this year. So the Longhorns probably need to take them pretty seriously. We'll get into a little bit of Wyoming breakdown. We'll get into our picks this week. We will see if Chance and I can do anything to get out of the cellar this week. Chance Mock, are you ready to get out of the cellar, brother?
I was 2-1 this past weekend. If it wasn't for Texas Tech's dumbass throwing a pick six, I'd have been 3-0, and you'd have been in the bottom cellar by yourself. Get ready, boys. This beard is safe. My picks are safe. I can't wait till tomorrow.
Yep, and I would have shot par yesterday if it weren't for those other 25 strokes. But what are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do? It's all math, right? We'll do that tomorrow with the Bet US picks.
Hold on, Chris.
Yes,
do you think you'll have the capability of coming on before 10? I know you miss on Thursday nights. Do you think you could come on at 9:50 and make your picks so Jason believes that they weren't?
I mean, I just see these ghost picks shooting to the top of the standings.
I promise I will do my best. I promise. Yes.
Okay, we need to know the veracity of your picks. The legitimacy is being questioned. I want you to know
Even
that.
though he texted them to us in advance.
Hey, when he gets done cussing out kids, he'll get on and tell us.
Right. As long as he sends it to the group text, where we can all see it, we'll all understand it. I think we're good. I think we'll be good.
He'll give you the Adam Dunn. Hit an effing fastball. Quit swinging at the off-speed shit.
That's right.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Exactly. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow at 9:00. Chris will be coaching the kids of America. The rest of us will make some picks. We'll be talking Texas and Wyoming and getting it done. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hey, as of today, 17,000 subscribers at orangebloods.com. Thanks to you and you and you and you and you and everybody who did that. We're on our way to 18,000 and 19,000 and beyond. But thank you for that. Get your notifications so you know when all the shows are coming up. The next one is 6:30 tomorrow morning with Get Your Horns Up. All right. Until 9:00 tomorrow night, we are the Outsiders. And as of now, we are legitimately worth the shit.